So when you look at the partner strategy framework of the 8 pillar system that companies use to generate millions in partner revenue, most companies build them backwards, right? And so they start with a portal, they worry about recruitment, they think about the enablement, and they wonder why nothing works. So the companies that make millions from partnerships, they start with their customers. And I'm going to show you exactly how big companies like Checkpoint and Catalyst, and the same for every supply for honestly these bigger SaaS companies, build partner programs that generate millions in revenue. So when you look at the actual framework itself, getting deep, just right into it, most companies miss 6 of these 8 pillars, and they wonder why their partner program fails. They miss a customer-centric strategy, proper structure, management, marketing, enablement, operations, cross-functional alignment, and people. And so I'll break down each. When we look at pillar 1, right? We want to look at the customer-centric strategy, the beginning, the foundation. If you get this wrong, then nothing else will matter. Most companies ask, what partners can sell our product? And the most successful companies basically ask, what help do our customers need? And so when we look at the customer interview process, you need to talk to at least 10 to 20 of your best customers. And if you don't have that many customers, because you're enterprise space or whatnot, if you don't have access to at least 5 is like the bare minimum, I would say, but 10 to 20 realistically. And actual conversation is not just a survey. So, some questions like, what have been your biggest challenges using our platform? What help do we need that we don't provide? Additional stuff, outcomes. What other companies do you work with to solve these problems? And what would make you more successful with our product? And sometimes you might not get a necessarily straightforward answer, but you might have to dance around it or kind of circle through conversation. But realistically, this will be a very good feedback loop for not only your own product, but aligning what partners could work. And so when you understand the customer pain, you can map it out to partner solutions. And so your customers say implementation takes too long. And the partner solution is implementation partners who specialize in your platform, right? They need that first win, right? And doing it themselves, it's very difficult. If they're stuck setting it up, and with them setting it up, they're having a bad association in their mind about you, it only hurts you, right? And so your customers could say, we need help with data migration. Look at data consulting firms with your product expertise, or train up them. So once you understand the problems, map them to the customer journey. So when we look at these 5 frameworks, right? Awareness, what helps customers discover you. Consideration, what helps them elevate you. Decision, what helps them choose you. Implementation, what helps them get value faster. And growth, what helps them expand usage. Each stage reveals different partner opportunities. So let's look at the second pillar, right? When we look at the actual structure of the program. And so the maybe 3 partner types you can boil it down to. There's an ocean of different partners, but let's fundamentally break down some of these that you can see. Implementation consultants, solution partners that help customers implement and use your product. Implementation consultants, training companies, system integrators. Tech partners integrate with your product. So software vendors with APIs, data providers, workflow tools. Channel partners sell your product on your behalf. Resellers, reseller partners, marketplace partners. If you want to go to B2C space, affiliates, you can. And honestly, B2B's getting some affiliates too. But the key is choose based on customer need, not your partner interest, right? Like you can choose a software vendor with APIs, and they might realistically just want like a marketplace partner, like AWS or something like that, or you want they just need help implementing the system. They don't need someone just to refer it to them, So what's going to drive the most revenue for you? That's the end goal. And what's going to drive the revenue, and that when you drive revenue, comes from customer outcomes. If customers need implementation help, start with solution partners. If customers need integration, start with tech partners. Need local support, start with channel partners. So typically you have most 3 tiers. You can get pretty advanced with this. I only suggest 3 tiers, maybe 2 even. 2 if you're using affiliates, but 3 tiers: basic partnership, low requirements; proven competency, then higher benefits; deep partnership, maximum benefits, right? And you can obviously have them work their way up, or give them promotions, stuff like that. You want to basically create a competitive structure that incentivizes them to actually get to goal to strategic, because you're essentially it's almost like when you sell a different level of a product, right? When you're looking at basic, advanced, or complete, right? A complete version of a product, advanced, basic. you want them to you want to treat them like a customer. You want them to get those wins. When they get those wins, they want to go level up. When they level up, they get certain benefits, and not necessarily just monetarily. Yeah, monetarily they might get more benefits, but let's say like they get they get entered to go to a trip, or they get entered to have an experience, or they get like some sort of recognition, right? A lot of people want status. They don't necessarily want money. They want status, because what's the money? What's the money? The byproduct of money? It's status. So if you fundamentally understand humans, you'll understand how to kind of break down your partner program. So you should have clear requirements and clear benefits. So when we look at partnership management, this is how you manage relationships day to day. So when evaluating partners, look for, can they help you? Can they actually help your customers, right? Are they driving business outcomes? Do they have the right skills, experience with your type of product? Do they have success stories? And if in the beginning, how can you help them get there? Capacity, can they handle the volume? How many consultants do they have? What's the delivery model? Can they scale with you? And commitment, are they actually serious about the partnership, right? Like you don't want some people who are just going to beat around the bush or do anything. I'd rather have two super loyal partners who are ready to hit the ground running, break things down, than have a partner who doesn't really want to do much and just wants to take. Like no one likes partners like that. And typically the bigger ones, like the resellers, they're going to end up taking because they have that leverage. They have the ability to do that. And so when you're starting out, like, with your SMB, like 1 to 10 million, if you really want to scale, sometimes, like, yes, unless you have an amazing product market fit, you can break into those accounts, which by all means do if they can push your product. More often than not, you're going to actually scale typically with other people around you. And so all three must be present. Miss one and the partnerships tend to fail. So when we look at the lifecycle management, they go through different stages, right? The prospect, not yet a partner, registered, sign agreement, basic enablement, activated for successful customer delivery, right? Most partners are enabled. Not all of them are going to be activated. And that's where the biggest drop off typically comes. And that's where you can realistically see and continue to funnel down your ideal partner profile. And then optimize consistent performance, strategic relationship. Obviously, depending on your deal size, you might have differing relationships, but yeah. Different stages need different support. And so when we look at pillar 4, partner marketing, I'm going to need some water for this one. Ooh. This is how you generate awareness and demand with and through partners. So 3 types of partner marketing: marketing to partners, recruiting new partners, partner recruitment campaigns, industry events, referral programs. This could be paid ads or outbound. You could do that. I typically like outbound because I find most partners will actually read it. Marketing with partners, joint marketing activities, co-branded content, joint webinars, customer case studies. Marketing through partners, partners promote you, partner generated content, partner referrals, partner advocacy. So when you look at the flywheel, right, you give partners tools, they create content, their audience discovers you, you get leads, you send referrals back, partners see value, they create more content. The whole goal here, if you look at this, the bigger picture, is to build trust and build awareness. Because eventually you're going to have to, through your own sales process, whether in the awareness funnel, if you do your marketing correctly, it's going to funnel down slowly to awareness, to consideration, to decision, to purchase, right? Simplifying it significantly, but when we look at partner enablement, right? This is how you help partners succeed with your product. And this is super, super important, right? 2 types of enablement: self-serve training, online courses, certification programs, resource libraries, right? Just about things they can have on hand, right? And so I like these, and a lot of companies do these. However, getting them to actually use and spend time doing, because people are busy, right? It's hard. You're going to have to create incentivization structures or onboarding materials for them to actually do that. And not only that, like, how can you make it so simple for them to sell your product that literally a baby could do it? That's how I like to think about things. So when the high touch enablement is dedicated partner managers, obviously you don't need to, especially in the beginning. You might need 1 or 2 people, but like one person could, honestly, between 1 to 10 million, you're probably only going to be able to afford one, a quality one, right? And that person is mainly here just to be an operator, right? Operate and manage those relationships, because there's already a system behind it that you've built. And custom training workshops, joint customer delivery, they're basically just managing everything. And so when we look at the enablement progression, first one's just the product training, how it works. Customer training, who buys it, and typically this is very, very fast because the same customer. Competitive training, how to win. and then advanced training complex scenarios, right? This is where you spend a lot of your time how to win. And advanced and complex scenarios, obviously, if you have domain expertise, the nuances will get there as you go higher up in enterprise level deals. However, competitive training and how to win, uh, you know, that's where realistically, how can you describe the business outcomes? How does it connect to the partner's business the partner's services that drives a certain business outcome for that same customer? And how can you tell a story together that makes it a no-brainer? Most companies start at level 1 with good product training, and the most successful companies go to level 4. And it's work. I'm not gonna lie, but nothing is. You're not gonna become successful doing stuff really easily. I'm be real. But on the other side of hard is success, and I know whoever's watching, you want to be successful. Test understanding at each level: base certification, advanced, specialization, right? And so obviously this can be tied to the different tier systems. Again, you're gonna have to understand those nuances. We work very, very closely with our clients that kind of combine the two. So they should mean something, right? They should actually represent real competency versus just clicking through a training really, really fast, right? And I prefer doing like live calls. Like you have to do a live call with us to sell because you have to treat them like normal salespeople, right? They should be able to sell like one of your top reps, because realistically, it's just selling business outcomes. They should be able to sell like your top reps. However, you still got to manage a relationship like a customer. Pillar 6, partner operations. This should be the behind-the-scenes infrastructure that makes everything work. Your PRM tool, partner relationship management tool, kind of like a customer relationship management tool, partner contact database, training tracking, certification status, performance metrics, and then deal registration, basically lead routing system, conflict resolution, if anything were to happen, commission tracking, improve workflows. Then look at the partner portal, resource access, training materials, performance dashboards, communication tools. Simple systems that work and that let me re-say that. Simple systems that work beat complex systems that don't. I'd rather have something be a 1, 2, 3 process and actually work than a 25 different process to impress basically no one. Start with spreadsheets if you have to. Upgrade as you go. So when we look at Pillar 7, cross-functional alignment, partners touch every department. Everything needs to be aligned. So the reason I say that is because it touches all different aspects, because it's almost two companies joining together. The same way the services that partner has to understand your company, you have to understand the partner company. And that comes from a multi-pronged approach of like, okay, since you are a software product, it would be almost silly not to have product involved, because that's the main key that's driving a business outcome for the end customer. And they might be able to actually help improve your product because they have more feedback. So it's literally, there's no way not to win if you do this right. So sales team needs to know when to involve partners and how to co-sell. I think this is very, very important, that in the beginning, especially, you do not take away or play any games, or you create a culture where it's like, hey, we do not steal from partners. Because if you do, you're going to be blacklisted, and it's really, really bad for your company. Marketing team needs to create partner-friendly content and campaigns, basically encouraging other people to also like increase brands. Like let's look at Zapier, for example, right? They actually grew through SEO and blogs, but when they grew through SEO and blogs, they say, okay, connect these two integrations. Zapier now works with Google Sheets. Google didn't necessarily promote Zapier, but when you create partner-friendly content connecting two different brands, you see the vision? Customer success needs to know when to recommend partners, right? You don't want to necessarily recommend it in the middle. You could. You really have to understand like when to recommend partners for your current customer base, right? If you get something through direct sales and you want to refer a partner, you think it's a good use case, your direct sales team should be trained how to do that. But yeah, this is very, very nuanced. We can spend like an hour doing this. But when you look at the product team, and you need to build partner-friendly features, right? And something that it can be easily describable, almost explained to a 5-year-old. And not only will this help you build partner-friendly features, where it's like, okay, someone who doesn't necessarily know the actual software, like supposedly you sell cybersecurity software, and this person might not actually like know like the weeds, but what they might know is what is it going to accomplish, and how do they describe it, and how can they sell for you? Make it so simple a 5-year-old could do it. And it makes the customer's life also easier too, the user experience. So when we look at the legal team, it needs to create partner agreements and policies. Right? We got to make sure everything's streamlined and legal. So the internal enablement challenge, your biggest challenge is enabling your partners, is enabling your own team. So sales needs to understand partners aren't competition, they're force multipliers. Marketing needs to understand partner content is different than customer content. Customer success needs to understand when to introduce partners versus when to handle internally. So the regular alignment activities, monthly partner updates to all teams, quarterly partner business reviews, annual partner planning sessions. Nuanced, of course, but generally. So when we're looking at now the people aspect, the right people make or break your partner program. And this might be one of the, if not the most important thing here, because you can do everything right and this can break apart here. Good partnership people are relationship builders, not just salespeople. They're strategic thinkers, not just technicians. They're cross-functional collaborators, not just individual contributors. And when it comes to KPIing them, aka building them metrics, aka how do we measure if they're succeeding well, aka how do we know we are doing well, you got to align it properly and not just shove them in the sales department. Right? And depending on what your product is and stuff like that, it's very situational, but you have to be very, very careful because you want to set them up for success. So centralized one partnership team handles everything. Pros, clear ownership, consistent messaging. However, it can become a bottleneck because it's less specialized. Partnership specialists in each function. There's a deep expertise, faster execution, but there might be a little bit of coordination challenge and consistent approach. And central strategy team with embedded specialists. It's the best of both worlds, but it's more complex to manage. You're going to have to navigate what would be best for your culture, your team. But yeah, most successful companies start centralized and eventually evolve to hybrid as they scale. So how your pillars kind of work together just to bring everything in this joint thing. A strong customer strategy plus weak operations, great ideas that don't execute. Strong operations plus weak customer strategy equals efficient execution of the wrong things. Now, strong everything plus weak people equals systems without relationships. Systems are very important, but they help enable your partnership people to build those relationships and continue on those relationships. Companies that generate millions from partnerships get all 8 pillars working in harmony. So if you're confused on how to actually get this done, a simple sequence you just run through is, okay, month 1 through 2, customer research. And this is assuming you're very, very low key about this, right? You don't have as much of a team to dedicate. Okay, cool. Customer research, then program design, first partner recruitment, basic enablement, operation setup, internal alignment, and then ongoing people development, and always marketing and promotion. So this is the reality, right? I want to be honest with you. The framework is comprehensive for a reason. Partnerships are complex. They involve multiple people, multiple teams, multiple motivations. The companies that try to shortcut the framework usually fail, and they focus on 2 or 3 pillars and wonder why partners don't perform. Companies that succeed understand partnerships are a long-term strategic capability, not a short-term tactical solution. You can succeed in the short-term tactical aspect, which is going to give you qualification the same way you test your product in the market, being like, okay, like there's product market fit. I can actually scale this when you test out a new product, when you give it to your friends to try out. That's kind of how you want to think about these short-term wins in a partnership strategy. But if you realistically get the right fit and you build the right system, you don't have to wait like 12 months. I'll be so real. You don't have to wait if you play this properly. And that's why many companies find it valuable to work with someone who's built these systems dozens of times before. Right? So, got you.